I'd like to call upon Mr. Arjun Thekkumadathil from Toons Animation. Arjun is the technical director at Toons, and Arjun has worked with different major production houses in India as well as abroad, like DreamWorks, Prana, Toons, and many more. His major feature films include Puss in Boots, Kung Fu Panda 3. So let us welcome now Arjun on stage. He's going to be talking about ShaderFX and Shotgun.
Um, you all know production tracking is one of the headache in every studio. You guys generally go around having hundreds of Excel sheets and really unmanageable. And I'm here to talk about Shotgun, product of Autodesk, and how we implemented it basically in Toons. I'll first introduce Toons. We are basically an animation production house. We have both 2D, 3D, and we majorly run our own IPs and bunch of service products. So when we initially decided to expand our animation production to say like double the amount of animation content we deliver every year, the biggest problem we had was like with lesser number of production people, too many projects on floor, and not really able to manage things using Excel sheets. And that started a huge communication gap between artists, production, and the vendor studios we were working with. And there were too many files to be managed for reporting also. So we went on, decided like Shotgun is our tool. And when we looked at it, the first problem we figured out was like, how do we integrate it to our existing pipeline, right? And the Shotgun API was pretty convenient for all those things. And we decided we'll provide a new interface for our artists to work with Shotgun. And basically with this, our artists will only see what they're supposed to see, and they don't see too many things, and they see precise information, and half of the things are automated behind everything for artists. They really only do in click of buttons. We are able to pull out every independent artist-based information as well. We had standalone applications which would support any software regardless of Maya. The next bigger thing was review and tracking for us. Our supervisors, projects runs on for 6 to 8 months or even more than a year, and it's very hard to track back what comment was given on a shot 3 months back or 4 months back. And that's when the combination of RV and Shotgun came into real play in the company. Supervisors are really amazed with the capabilities of RV. Basically, they made a bigger switch from non-linear editing softwares to actually RV for reviewing. And every comment they give or any review, everything is tracked, and the history remains throughout the project. And our artist was also convenient because they can anytime go and look at the shot and say, you know what, 3 months back I got this comment. And till date, whatever the comment is, or the status of the shot and anything. We also integrated a notification system using the API of Shotgun, which gives instant notification and email to people so that things doesn't go unnoticed. So it's pretty cool that every time something happens, someone approves a shot, the artist gets a notification, someone says, oh, I put a revision request for the next department, everyone gets a notification instantly. And then came the bigger play where our management and production was having the biggest trouble was to get the right report and analytics out of projects. And there also, Shotgun played a bigger role for us. Shotgun comes with very smart analytics and graphical representation, which is actually live. Everything in Shotgun goes live, and all the information you see is generally live data. And this also made it more better for every one of us because things were more transparent across the studio, across the project, and across the departments. And then, however we try to remove Excel sheets, or management will come back with Excel sheets for custom reports. So we ended up generating custom reports based on independence, productivity, and other factors. And we had our Excel sheets generated out of Shotgun based on the requirement from management. We are also working with a lot of other vendor studios across India. And it's really hard to track what has gone to which studio and which project in which studio, all these things. And that's when, again, Shotgun comes in power because everything is on cloud. Oh, we are really easy to give a Shotgun account and access to our Shotgun for the vendor studios. So they can also see where we are. And we ask them to update in Shotgun so that it's easy for us to actually track things within other studios. And the privacy and permission management in Shotgun is really, really good so that we make sure that our vendors see only what they're supposed to see. We also use Shotgun to actually plan our resource management. And we try to get rid of Excel sheets out of the production floor. Still, somewhere here and there, we use it. The bigger key takeaway for us from the Shotgun was actually real-time and live accurate data, whatever people see, whether it is artists, production people, or the management people, they all see data in live and which is more accurate. We also have, they were really able to manage projects. We were getting, when it was Excel sheets, we were getting into a stage where things were going out of hands. And the best thing was Shotgun, doesn't matter what pipeline you have existing in your studio, Shotgun actually can integrate to any pipeline. And even our clients, whichever we work projects, they're happy to review things using Shotgun. We send them Shotgun playlist, and they all review using Shotgun. Moving forward, I'll actually talk about the next bigger thing we went on for Maya, which is real-time rendering in Maya. I'll introduce you something called ShaderFX, and I'll tell you why we reached here. We had a situation in studio where we had a project, and we were at a situation where we didn't have enough resources on our render farm. So our option was either to go for cloud rendering or figure out some way to do it within the studio. And that's when we explored ShaderFX. It's actually a cool plugin within Maya. It got a separate node-based interface other than your Hypershade. It's very similar to other game engines. You can build whatever shader you want from scratch. There's no limitations really in that. I'll actually put you guys through a quick video. It's basically a plugin within Maya. It's called ShaderFX. You can make sure it's enabled for you. Apply a new ShaderFX material. You'll have a new interface where you can type and get all the new nodes. Enabling texture and viewports. Adding more controls. normal maps. You can foresee the normal maps in the viewport itself. This is a quick way to build a new shader in ShaderFX. Now, altogether, this looks like a little complicated with too many nodes. But don't worry about this. This is only at the time of when you build it for the first time. When you give it to the artist to use, you can decide what artist needs to see and only expose those things to the artist. You can see that artist only sees those 3 attributes outside. And lighting artist works live with the scene, even the look development people. And even if anyone needs to go in and modify that, it's a much simpler shader network, which is very easy to understand. Now, the biggest thing was render time calculations for us, right? We primarily render using mental ray or V-Ray, and our projects takes like between 30 minutes to 1 hour per frame to render. And the ShaderFX biggest advantage was like our render time was reduced to 1 second to 3 seconds, and 0 render farm usage. People every day evening they go out, they put bunch of shots for render and go out, and it's all done. Nothing really changed for artists in this way, workflow-wise. It's only the development team who develops actually have a change. But otherwise, we give a very similar interface like any other Maya shader. I'll actually run you guys through a demo of a production scene. The video what you're going to see, left side is a V-Ray render, which took 1 hour per frame to render. And the right side video will be ShaderFX, which renders in a second. So you see the quality difference. There is obviously quality difference. But this is, again, real time versus 1 hour render. I'll actually walk you guys through how our artist has been working with actually the scene. You'll actually see the light updating live on the other side of the viewport. It's so convenient for the lighting artists because they don't have to make a change and wait for half an hour to actually render and see how their scene looks like. Now, what you see is a much simpler shader network for environments. As a part of our global pipeline, we ended up actually making a Uber shader, just like Blend or any other shader in Maya, so which can actually be a generic shader people use for different purposes. And that's what we actually use for this character. Here also you see the live updates for the shadows and everything. This interface, what you see, this is a one-time build what we did. An artist can go and modify things. It's an Uber shader. This is actually a very complex network at the back end of the shader because it does a lot of multiple things. That's a much complicated shader network. And that's our real-time rendering. We have one project already running on this, and we are looking for another 2 more projects to run on this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Arjun. I would request you to stay on stage, please. I'll request Suvin Walson to present the token of appreciation to Arjun. Next, we'd like to call upon Yoichiro Kadokuchi. Yoichiro Kadokuchi is the M&E Technical Specialist Manager at Autodesk Japan. He provides technical support to many 3D game titles since very early stage of 3D game industry. And today, he's going to be presenting on the talk named Beyond the Screen. It's my pleasure to call upon Kadokuchi-san.